As the war in Iran continues,
Preguntaron, pero sí van a jugar los 3 partidos allá. Entonces nos preguntaron, ¿pueden pernoctar en México?
that country's national team must find a new place to stay during the World Cup. Making it to the game takes a different kind of footwork.
Importantes son las personas.
Connecting with people.
For a few dedicated fans of Argentina, and looking back on the career of Ron McGill as he retires from his career with the county.
It's all the things I love to do, I will be able to continue doing.
These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Zipporah Hayes.
And I'm Enzo Paso. Today's Wednesday, May 27th, 2026.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
An interstate lawsuit is taken down by the Supreme Court. A decision taken in Florida about 3 people that were killed, an undocumented driver, has finally come to a conclusion.
That's right. Caplin's D.C. Bureau reporter, Danette Heredias, speaks from the nation's capital.
Just Tuesday morning, the Supreme Court has rejected Florida's lawsuit against Washington State and California about issuing a commercial license to an undocumented immigrant. The case involved an undocumented immigrant from India who had a valid commercial driver's license from California and a permit from Washington State, but was involved in an accident in Florida after he made an illegal U-turn, killing 3 people. Florida tried to sue those states, saying that giving licenses to undocumented immigrants is dangerous. The Supreme Court rejected that, agreeing with the states that Florida had no jurisdiction over what other states do. A spokesperson for a Florida Attorney General, James Uthmeyer, criticized the ruling, saying it left Florida with no way to challenge decisions about licenses made in other states but that affect Florida residents. But Washington State Attorney General Nicholas Brown argues against the idea of states suing each other over policies that could indirectly harm across state lines, quoting, "The court should not open that door." Although the lawsuit was rejected, this is just another example to show Florida's fight against immigration. Reporting from Washington, D.C. for Caplin News, I'm Danette Heredias.
A judge has refused to block Florida's new congressional map amid a lawsuit. The ruling on Tuesday allows the map to stay in place despite a lawsuit from civil rights groups. The current map could give Republicans 4 more seats in an already tight House.
The decades-long U.S. Senate career of Texas Republican John Cornyn will come to an end this year. On Tuesday, Cornyn lost the incumbent to Trump-endorsed Ken Paxton. CNN's Reed Binion reports.
Tonight, we just sent a Texas-sized message to Washington.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton won the state's Republican U.S. Senate primary runoff Tuesday.
I said it in March, and I'll say it again now. Today, change was on the ballot, and change won.
Paxton speaking to supporters after defeating longtime incumbent Senator John Cornyn in a landslide. His victory came after an 11th-hour endorsement from President Donald Trump. The president endorsing Paxton just 1 week before Tuesday's vote, propelling him to a win over Cornyn, who previously got more votes than Paxton in the state's March 3rd GOP primary. Paxton has weathered a long list of scandals, which Cornyn slammed him for as recently as Tuesday before polls closed.
He's gotten away with so much for so long. He is an embarrassment. The basic problem is you can't trust Ken Paxton.
Still, following his loss, Cornyn said he respects the voters' decision, and while not mentioning his rival by name, said he will support the Republican nominee in the general election. And despite the bitter campaign, Paxton thanked Cornyn in his victory speech.
John has dedicated much of his life to serving Texas, and for that spirit of service to the Lone Star State and our nation, I'm very grateful.
Paxton now advances as the GOP nominee to face Democrat James Tallarico in November in one of the country's highest-profile U.S. Senate races. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
The suspect in Florida State University shooting appeared in court for a pre-trial hearing. Yesterday was the first hearing for suspect Phoenix Inker since body cam footage and ChatGPT logs were released from the deadly shooting in April of last year. Inker is accused of opening fire on FSU's campus, which resulted in 2 deaths and several injuries.
The former Miami Dolphins head coach is suing the NFL for racial discrimination. Brian Flores sued the league in 2022 after his firing from the Dolphins and not being hired by other teams. Flores claims he was not hired because of his race. He currently serves as the Minnesota Vikings defensive coordinator.
FIFA has announced that Iran's World Cup training camp will be now based in Mexico. Following ongoing tensions between the United States and Iran, the Iranian Soccer Federation requested that FIFA move the team's training base from the U.S. to Mexico. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum addressed the chase during a press conference on Monday, confirming that Iran's training camp would be moved to Tijuana. The switch comes just 2 weeks before the World Cup is set to begin.
Estados Unidos no quiere que la selección iraní se quede a pernoctar en Estados Unidos.
The team was originally set to train in Tucson, Arizona before the change was approved. However, Iran will play 3 of its scheduled World Cup matches in the United States, 2 in Los Angeles and 1 in Seattle.
3 Argentinian soccer fans are taking the scenic route to the World Cup in Kansas City. KSHB's Fernanda Silva has more.
Vincente Conculini says you have to be a little crazy to choose this path, but he did, alongside his friends Miguel Cilio and Shamandu Martinez. They say the trip is the road, not the destination. To stay on the road, they quit their jobs and dipped into their savings. I interviewed them in their native Spanish, and I asked them why. They say it is for soccer, for their national team, and to meet new people and places. But back home, some people are calling them crazy. Miguel's wife gave him 1 year to complete the trip, and now the trio is so close to it. They are already in Oklahoma. So close, they are already feeling a small emptiness. They don't want it to be over. Their goal is to watch Argentina playing in KC and continue to follow the team during the competition. But they know they already won the big prize, connecting with people. In Kansas City, I'm Fernanda Silva, KSHB 41 News.
Humans orbited the moon with the Artemis mission late last year, but now NASA is looking for a sustained presence on the moon. NASA plans to achieve this by establishing a moon base for scientists and astronauts to prolong their mission. NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman mentioned the mission would also come with challenges.
We are leveraging the NASA playbook from the 1960s, figuring out what works and what doesn't in this epic science of survival, because the moon base is as beautiful as it is hostile.
NASA says they must account for the moon's lack of atmosphere to protect radiation with temperatures that range between 250 degrees and below -200 in the shade areas. The process for establishing the base is expected to take around a decade.
Despite a disappointing game for the Marlins, a Blue Jays fan caught 2 foul balls in the same game.
That's one lucky fan. That's still ahead, and so is this story.
Exciting, inspiring, and rewarding.
One of South Florida's most well-known wildlife experts is preparing to open a new chapter in his life. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Radcliffe Art and Design Incubator is the velocity accompanying the fellow's rudder, as in a boat. Unless there is movement or action, the planned direction is of little consequence. We encourage the creative ideas into action, and from the experience of doing, we critically assess the feedback, adjust, and set out to rediscover the potentialities of an entrepreneurial mindset.
STEM is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Wildlife expert, educator, and conservation advocate Ron McGill tells us what's next. He has announced his retirement as a Miami-Dade County employee.
But as Caplin's Hannah Spence reports, Ron's time with the Zoo Miami Foundation is just getting started.
Celebrated wildlife expert Ron McGill recently announced his retirement. But before his last day, he spoke with Caplin News about his legacy.
In 1980, McGill decided to leave the University of Florida before completing his bachelor's degree to work at Crandon Zoo, which is now known as Zoo Miami. Throughout the course of his career, he has moved his way up from entry-level zookeeper to the internationally known face and voice of the park. When asked to describe the last 46 years in 3 words, McGill said,
Exciting, inspiring, and rewarding.
In addition to allowing him to live out his dream, working for the zoo has done wonders for other aspects of McGill's life. Instances include an alligator bite leading him to meet his wife Rita, who is his physical therapist. Working with animals has also opened the door for McGill to get involved with philanthropic efforts.
The thing I'm most proud of in my entire career here is being able to establish the Ron McGill Conservation Endowment. It's the largest endowment of its kind at the zoo. It's now valued at well over $3 million. And each year I give away tens of thousands of dollars. Not a penny of that money can be spent in the zoo.
Although McGill said he appreciates what being a county employee has provided him, he looks forward to stepping into a new role that will allow him to avoid going through the red tape that sometimes comes with working in government, and it will allow him to stay at the zoo.
Well, I'm officially retiring from the county in May, but I'm not leaving the zoo. The good news is I'm transitioning over to the Zoo Miami Foundation. It's all the things I love to do, I will be able to continue doing. I just won't have to deal as much with the bureaucracy that's commonly associated with working for government.
Luckily, McGill will still have an office at the zoo when he continues his passion as a Goodwill ambassador. I'm Hannah Spence for Caplin News.
This morning, a Blue Jays fan is feeling lucky after catching 2 foul balls in the same game. Last night, the Marlins visited the Toronto Blue Jays, and at the top of the 2nd inning, a Blue Jays fan caught a foul ball. That same fan, at the top of the 5th inning, caught another foul ball. Talk about foul lucky. Your final score was Marlins 1, Toronto 8. You're watching Newsbreak, and we're coming right back.
Really use a new tablet. I just don't have the money.
Let me ask you something. Do you have a Pell Grant?
Yes.
You do know you can get a free tablet, right?
Did you say free?
Yeah, free. It's simple. And the application is done in the store.
I could really use a tablet.
Go get one. Another satisfied customer. Stop by Panther in the Graham Center at FIU MMC today to speak with one of our associates to get your free tablet.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Zipporah Hayes.
And I'm Enzo Paso, and you can get more news at any time at caplinnews.fiu.edu.